acting like a jungle animal. He changed so much that he took a new name for himself. Kraven the Hunter.
What's going on, moviegoers? So if you're new to the channel, my name is Christian and welcome to SeaWorld Productions. You guys, John Watts, the director of Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, has stated what villain he wants to see in the third Spider-Man film. Now, he wants Kraven the Hunter to appear as the main antagonist for Spider-Man 3, whatever title that movie will be. Now, I know Sony still plans on doing their whole Spider-Man-less universe with Venom, Morbius, Black Cat, Silver Sable, and now Kraven. If this is true, I think Sony should pull out of that. I think Sony should stop and don't move forward with having Kraven be, or at least having Kraven have his own solo movie in their universe. Now, hence, I don't doubt that one day that these two universes will cross over to each other and Spider-Man will meet a Jared Leto Morbius, or Spider-Man will meet a Tom Hardy Venom. Eventually, it will happen because it's Sony and Marvel. They have this deal together, and I think it's going to potentially happen. But that being said, I don't think it's a good idea. I think they should let the MCU have that film for themselves. Have them introduce Kraven into their world before Sony does that into, their world. Because it doesn't make sense when you have a Kraven the Hunter who's literally, his main goal is to hunt Spider-Man in his own film, but without having Spider-Man. That doesn't make any sort of sense, right? But Dimitri, right, in Spider-Man Far From Home, was in the film. And if you really look at his film, or his role in the movie, right, he was just kicking back. He didn't really do much. He was observing. And when Peter put on Tony's glasses and he was able to see, what everybody was about, his was blank. Nothing at all. Now, if it's true, if Dimitri is playing the Chameleon is Kraven the Hunter's half-brother, who could be secretly working for Kraven, trying to figure out how to defeat Spider-Man. Because Kraven's main thing is to be the best hunter in the world he can be, and a suitable fight would be Spider-Man. How would he defeat Spider-Man? And you can take it way back. I'm gonna have to pull out my Ultimate Spider-Man guide since I've had since like the 6th grade. It's all beat up, you guys, but I love it. It has everything in there. Chameleon has a whole page, 2 pages on Chameleon and things. And in this particular photo, it says the Chameleon tells his half-brother about his plans to defeat Spider-Man, Kraven the Hunter. Take a look. Right there. So it would make sense if they did go that route, if Dimitri was actually the Chameleon, and that's not his actual face. Let's see, just between brothers. Though he secretly believed that he was selfish and egotistical, the Chameleon has always wanted to be accepted and respected by his half-brother. Kraven may have possessed greater strength and powers, but the Chameleon was constantly trying to prove that he was deadlier than his brother. Interesting. Interesting. See, they can definitely go that route. I don't see why not. And I would love to see that. Let me see if I can find anything else about this guy that's particularly interesting. His mask. The Chameleon's masks are made from a synthetic material that looks and feels like human skin. So he has different identities. So the Chameleon that we saw, or Dimitri that we saw in that film, probably wasn't the real Chameleon. So that's that. They can make so much out of it. I mean, I would love to see something like that. What else? First defeat. After luring Spider-Man into his trap, the Chameleon disguised himself as the web spinner and tried to frame him for theft. But the wall crawler managed to clear his name by capturing and exposing the Chameleon. Desperate for revenge, Dimitri called on the services of his half-brother, Kraven the Hunter. So it could work. It could work, you guys. I'm telling you. If they decided to go that route and have you know, a chameleon and have Kraven the Hunter for Spider-Man 3. Boy, oh boy, that shit would be crazy. I would love to see it. Let me see if I can find my boy Kraven the Hunter. But who would play him? I feel like Jason Momoa would play a fucking good ass. A good Kraven the Hunter. That shit would be sick. He's big. I feel like that would be dope. Let's see. The first hunt. The first meeting between Spider-Man and Kraven did not start off well for the wall crawler. Surprised by Kraven's speed, Spider-Man then had his shoulder numbed by a devastating punch, but with only one arm working properly, Spidey was still able to defeat Kraven. From that day, Kraven swore to defeat Spider-Man and complete his hunt. Okay? And then you also have the comic book storyline, Kraven's Last Hunt. That's pretty much realizing that the best way to defeat Spider was to become him. Kraven began his final hunt. He managed to subdue the web swinger, buried him alive, and then began to impersonate him. In doing so, Kraven was able to bury some of his own personal demons. Believing that he has now faced all life's challenges, Kraven committed suicide. Since then, Kraven's son has picked up the mantle. Oh shit, that's crazy. See, but I'm telling you guys, it could work. Legit. I feel like they were setting something up like that. And apparently there were Easter eggs in Spider-Man Far From Home for Morbius. I was like, what? I must have missed it. I don't get it. So I'm gonna have to do my research and, you know, dig deep and find out what those Easter eggs were for Morbius. But I know they're still shooting that right now for Jared Leto. I'm so curious to see how that movie's gonna be. You know, I'm not going in hating it because I enjoyed Venom. And so far, Sony's Spider-Man-less universe is on good track with me. So I'm curious to see how that film performs. But yeah, man, John wants Kraven the Hunter for Spider-Man 3. So many more villains. And I like the fact that they're not, you know, restocking and reusing villains. Like the Vulture we got for the first time. You know what I mean? We got Shocker for the first time. We got Mysterio for the first time. And if this is true and, you know, we can potentially get a Chameleon and a Kraven the Hunter in Spider-Man 3, it's going to be pretty interesting. And now that his, spoiler alert, now that his identity is out there, it's going to be an all-out war. His enemies are going to be going after his loved ones. So it's going to be rough for Spider-Man Peter Parker. It is going to be rough. But I'm curious to see what route they go with for Spider-Man 3. And hopefully we get something at Comic-Con for Spider-Man 3. At least a title, something. I mean, I know it's kind of early, but I feel like, you know, they have these steps in mind. You know, Kevin Feige has the next 5 years planned out already. And I expect the Spider-Man 3 to be in that 5-year, you know, period. It just has to. Because what Spider-Man Far From Home came out, 2017? And it's 2019, we have Spider-Man Homecoming came out 2017. And then this year's 2019, we already have Spider-Man Far From Home. So it's a 2-year gap. So in the next 2 years, I'm expecting them to already start working on a Spider-Man 3. Absolutely. But I'm hyped, you guys. Let me know what you guys think about a potential Kraven the Hunter as the main villain for a Spider-Man 3 film. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions on that? And who else would you like to see them introduce into a Spider-Man film? New villains are always great, but I do love Dr. Octopus. Post your comments down below, you guys, and thank you for taking time in your day for watching Zero Productions. Peace.